Hello, future bestseller. Oh, I just noticed my camera's crooked. There, is that better now? I'm centered up. I should have maybe done that before we went live. Hello, everybody. We are super, super glad to see you. You will notice that the lovely and talented Michelle Schusterman is not with us today. She's feeling a little under the weather. So we are going to send her good wishes. So I don't know what this is. Apparently, this is good wishes for getting better soon. That's what that looks like. And also, we have our awesome friend Robert Jones, aka the Story Detective, here with us today. Robert, tell us a little about you and your awesome channel.
My channel is The Story Detective, where I put various forms of storytelling under a Sherlockian microscope and break down the craft to make the viewer's journey easier. And today I am going to be working on my craft book. So,
Oh, I'm
marching
very, I'm very, I'm very, very excited about the fact that you are working on your craft book. I absolutely love that. Fantastic. And I cannot wait to read it. I'm Lisa Daly. For those of you who for those of you who don't already know me, on my channel we talk about how to write a book you're super proud of and get it published. And I am a hybrid author. I'm a traditionally published and indie published author of rom coms and writing advice books. So, speaking of writing advice, I had you guys, I launched a course earlier in like a couple months ago to teach people how to write a self help book. And I'm super proud of it. And I had my first ever flash sale. I had an advisor said, like, hey, you really should do a flash sale, kind of get, some excitement going, which and I did. I don't feel like I did like a great, spectacular job executing it, but it did do well. And one of the ways that I poorly executed that book launch or course launch 101 is that on social media, like over here on YouTube, where I have a decent sized audience, I basically just posted on the community tab, hey, there's a flash sale. It ends at 5 today. And the reason I'm telling you guys this story, it's over. It ended at 5 on Saturday. The reason that I'm telling you guys this story is that there was a woman who happened to get served my how to structure a self-help video on Saturday evening. And she watched the video, she saw the post about the flash sale. She was like, I need that course. But it was like an hour after it expired. And that woman, God bless her, tracked me down on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and somewhere else. I think she emailed me also. And she's like, I signed up for your mailing list. I watched your video. I'm subscribed to your channel. I love you. And I got this an hour late. Is there anything you can do? And of course, I gave her the deal. I'm like, okay, here's like let me know if this works. I've never tried this before. And she signed up and she was super excited about it. But I just wanted to say, in the event that something you want to do is closed or over, or oh sorry, we're full, or whatever the reason, there is so much to be said for tenacity. She got that deal, right? She
Yeah.
got a $300 class for 49 bucks because she tracked my butt down, pleaded her case. And here's the thing, I have done that, not so much with like a course although I certainly have done something like if I just missed a deadline and it wasn't because I was being lazy, but because I just found out about it, I have reached out. And usually, people are really nice about it. But tenacity, I think, is one of the biggest predictors of success in anything. If you are the person who is not afraid to raise your hand or look stupid or ask that question or buy a drink for your favorite editor at a conference or whatever. If you go for it and just ask the thing you want to ask, or you know make that ask where they're 95% they're going to say no, but there's that 5% they might say yes. do it. It's almost always worth it. The worst thing they can say is no and put you right back where you are right now. The best thing they can say is yes. And I'm never going to forget her. I have her now across every social media, and and just the sheer determination of this woman was so impressive to me. I feel like I want her to succeed. I now know and care, at this point, more about her than any other person that signed up, because she was so determined to get into that class for $49.
Yeah, really.
I know, right? So this is our big lesson of the day, and sometimes we need to remind ourselves, myself included, that go for it. Go for the thing you want. Don't be afraid of looking dumb. Just do it. All right, and don't be afraid of no.
Plus, that book or that course is connected with your book that you wrote last, right?
Yes.
Which I think we need to mention. I mean, it's not a long book, but it's not just for self-help books. If you want to market your book or schedule interviews, there's tons of tips. It's a really good book.
Robert, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Yes. So the book is called How to Write a Self-Help Book in 14 Days. And the course is Write a Self-Help Book in 30 days, because sometimes with a course you need a little extra time. And I'm super proud of them. I really put like a lot of heart and soul into it. And while I love fiction writing, I also just have this love for nonfiction, and I am a nonfiction junkie. So thank you. That means a lot to me, Robert, because I value your opinion so much. So thank you so much. All right, let's say hi to our friends in the chat. Did I say this already? Michelle is out sick today. She is not feeling well. So let's all. Oh, we did, right? We're going to send her the magical good wishes. Okay. Get well soon, Michelle. Let's say hi to our friends. Mary Putnam is here. She was our guest last week, if you guys forgot. Tricked, which is the book that she ghost wrote, the memoir about the woman who was sex trafficked and eventually escaped the life, is on sale now. And she hit one of her bestseller lists, which is fantastic. Wait, you know what we need for that? Hold on. It's coming. You guys know what it is. We're so proud of you. Yeah! So that is awesome. We super love that. Daisy's here. Hello, Daisy. We are super glad to see you today. Devin's here. Hello, Devin. Lainey's here. Okay, Lainey is going to be finishing the draft of her work in progress today. By goddess, it will. Yes, it will, Lainey. We feel ya. Avi's here. Hello. We're super glad to see you today. Doll is here. Hello, Doll. Very happy to see you. Aw, thank you. Thank you very much. I was just really like, I feel like I admire tenacity more than like it's certainly like in, like in top characteristics. I always really admire tenacity, because it takes so much bravery to be tenacious, and yet it pays off. Like, it just pays off. So go out there and be brave.
Yeah, just to do that, and sometimes just to ask the right questions. I mean, that's how I met Stein. That turned into a whole spiel just by asking him questions that apparently he saw something in.
Right. That's the thing, though. So now she doesn't just have the class for $49. She has the person who wrote the class pulling for her and deeply invested in her story. And that is such an amazing thing. And I want that for all of you guys, to when you find a tool that you need, or there's a connection that you want to make, like, I want you guys to be brave and go out there and get it. Yes, right? Yes, absolutely. Oh, Robert, you know what? Okay. I'll show you this on the, I'll send you the thing on the break, but she actually has, I don't know if I can share this yet. I'll talk to you later about this. There's something about her story that connects to you. What? I know, right? Thank you so much, Avi. I appreciate it. Maz is here. Hello. Super glad to see you. Lainey says, Mary's so glad to hear Tricked is going well. Very nice. Yeah. Oh no, Avi, I'm so sorry you're not feeling well either. We have our OG live stream too, right? Back in the day, Robert and I. Oh, That's a good thing. Robert had a far more established channel than I did when we first started. And I was like, well, I want to do a live stream, but I should do this with somebody else. And so I just reached out to him, complete stranger, because I really liked his stuff. You had done this video. I don't remember what it was, but there was like I just remember there was something with a car. You had like told the whole story about it. I mean, it's been like 4 or 5 years since I
Yeah,
saw it.
that's probably one. I think I remember it. There were various pieces, so I explained some of it while driving and giving different examples about things that
Yeah. But I was really
was lacking behind, but or lagging behind rather. But yeah, it's going to make a comeback as soon as I get some other more important things done, and the videos are in the planning stage. So
I'm so excited to have you doing more videos again, because yours are so good. If you guys are not already subscribed to Robert's channel, you should definitely do that. It's the Story Detective. Yeah, but so that's the thing. I liked your videos. I had like 3 followers. I had no connections in AuthorTube. And so I just reached out and I said, "Hey, I really like this. I want to do this live stream." And the great thing is, like, we became friends. We've been doing this for now, I don't know, 4.5 or 5 years. I don't even know. I'd have to go back and look. I don't even know how long. Forever. And it's
yeah.
yeah. And I think this little live stream like totally saved me, especially in particular during the pandemic. Like, just like feeling like we had our little friend group and we could meet every day. So speaking of our friends are here to write today. So let's go ahead and get our 5-minute warm-up sprint up. I took my vitamins today, so I'm ready to write. Hold on one second.
I am also ready to write.
All right. Well, I'm very glad to hear that. When we come back for our 5 minutes from our 5-minute sprint, everybody let us know, if you have not already, what you are going to be working on today. And we'll talk about that when we come back. And yeah, anything else? Oh, you know what? Our second question of the day today is going to be, tell us when you were brave and it paid off. That's going to be our question. So get that going in your mind right now. But for now, we're going to start with our 5-minute sprint. Get those documents open. Get that giant vat of iced tea or coffee or whatever it is you're drinking today. And let's get rolling. Here we go. 5 minutes. 3, 2, 1. Let's write. All right, we are back. Let's get rid of this. All right. So, so our question, first of all, how'd you do on that 5 minute sprint?
I did pretty well.
That's awesome. I did too. I just mostly got things organized for actual editing. I'm working on a client project today, uh, and it's so close to being done, but not quite. And I'm not quite. I'm still kind of like in the end of the middle section, so I'm just about to start the conclusion, and it always goes much faster than there from there. But yeah, this has been like a slog. As much as I love the book, it's just been a slog. I think I told you guys last week it has some pen issues, and so I feel like that makes everything take like 9 times longer. Avi said something I thought was awesome. What we were talking about when we first started the live stream, right? It was all of us and Doll and Savvy, and yes, we still are a little bit the little live stream that could. I love that we have this great little core group that's here with us every week, and we always get a lot of people afterwards, who watch the replay and comment, which I think is really nice. It didn't occur to me when we first started this that there would be people that were like they couldn't show like there were. It occurred to me that there were people that couldn't show up at the time that we were doing this, but it did not really occur to me that we would get so many more people who wanted to be here but had to watch later and ended up watching the replay. And I'm glad, because I feel like there's this sort of extra community that we don't get to see live, but that they still hang out with us and participate. So hi everybody who's watching the replay, we love you. All right, so my question was, hold on, I've lost all my stuff here. Let's see. My question was about being brave. Tell us about a time you were brave and it paid off. I love this answer from Lainey. I was brave when I decided to publish the Stagg Brothers books as a way to pay for a roof repair. I love that, because you know what? If you don't make it work, your roof caves in, and we can't have that. But Stagg Brothers, that's a great series. That is a really fantastic series. Is that your most popular series, Lainey? Let us know in the chat. I like, it's a really fantastic series. If you guys have not read it, you definitely want to try it. Doll says, when I was brave and paid off, I asked one of my favorite authors for permission to use a small quote from their book as an epigraph in my next novel. Author said yes. Yay! That's fantastic. I love that. Yeah, been there. So I'm sure I told you guys this already. When my kids were little, I would do what we call giving them the finger. I would hold my finger up like this if they come in, and they knew that they were not allowed to like speak. If I held up my finger, it meant like, I have seen you, I'm acknowledging you, I will come get you as soon as I come to a stopping point. But and it was really hilarious the first time my daughter used it on me when she was like in second grade. but it really did work. Lainey says Stagg Brothers is my most profitable series. I have no idea why I keep trying to write in other words that aren't as lucrative. We all do that though, right? Because there's some part of you that's like, ooh, I'm really interested in telling these stories. And you never know that your next book series might be more lucrative than Stagg Brothers. But that is such a great series and people love it. So yeah, more on that. There is something really interesting about that. I've been thinking a lot about marketing recently, marketing books, and in particular sort of marketing my course. And one of the things that I've been thinking about a lot is the 80-20 rule. If you guys are not familiar with the 80-20 rule, it's basically that 80% of your effort creates 20% of your results, and 20% of your effort creates 80% of your results. But it's also, so in Lainey's case, Stagg Brothers is probably, creating, I don't know if it's 80%, but the outsized majority of her profits. And the idea behind that rule is that you're going to put more energy and effort into the thing that's already working for you. So when I think about like, for me, when I think about like, oh, which social media channel is going to drive more traffic, is going to, is going to connect me with more readers, it's YouTube. YouTube is I have built so many great relationships with YouTube, and I do not have that. I do not have that on Instagram. I do not like Facebook. I practically like pretended
Yeah.
like it didn't exist for years, and now I just stay in my little corner of writer world. I don't really engage in a big way on Facebook, and it shows. But YouTube, I love, and it matters. Like that's where when I was really thinking about, okay, how am I going to market this book? How am I going to do this? And I'm thinking about like, where am I getting the sales that I'm getting now? They're coming from YouTube. They're coming from this, they're coming from that. And those are the areas that you want to focus on. And that's true, not just for nonfiction, but it's also true for your fiction as well. What's getting the attention, and how can you like put more juice into that?
I think that's true in terms of the bravery aspect too. Things do kind of circulate in your life through connections or circumstance, or, maybe opportunities that just seem like happenstance. But, as we said, all things are kind of connected in a way. And sometimes you just have to reach out and take advantage. I mean, when I first started getting comic book work, I had a friend from art school, and we formed a little group of people that was going to try to get something published. We were determined. And my one friend in the group was the first one of us to get something published. And I remember sitting at home like that summer, and I contacted him, and he just got a big job. It was like from Dark Horse Comics. It was a Predator story. And he said, I need an inker, and I like the way you inked. Do you want to try out for it? And I said, sure. So I inked a couple of his pages. I didn't get that job, but it was through like the vice president of Dark Horse Comics. And my samples just happened to be sitting on his desk when somebody else blew their job and came in and said, this guy made a mess. What am I supposed to do? And he picked up my samples and said, give it to this guy.
Wait, hold on. Hold on. I think you know what's coming. That is a totally love that. Love that. Love that. And that's true. Like one of my favorite expressions is the harder you work, the luckier you get. And and that's like, you went after it, and yep, you didn't get that thing, but then you're in the exact right place on that guy's desk when the job did come up.
That was another movie sequel. It was from a horror movie from John Carpenter, which I liked as a kid. John Carpenter's The Thing, which is like one of my favorite classic horror movies. So I got to work on a sequel to that.
Get out. Is that true?
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun.
You're going to make the Horror Geek jelly. That's awesome. That is awesome. I love that.
They took that comic and they made a full cast audio of it just for the heck of it. It's on YouTube somewhere. So I thought that was great just to see. They showed like the art from the comic book, and they have a full cast narrating it and everything. So it still has its fan base today.
That's amazing. I love that. That is absolutely fantastic. Avi says, oh, good. This is a bravery moment here. Avi says, I submitted my first short story to Michelle's paid Substack, and she gave me great feedback, critiques that have elevated my stories. Her guidance has been so helpful. I'm always nervous to share my work. Aw, yay. That's great. That is absolutely fantastic. That's absolutely fantastic. Oh, I love that. You know what? You guys are so cute together too. Dave and Mary are adorable, and beloved by every bookstore manager in California. Love that. That's super sweet. It is. Yay. Aw. All right, you guys. So let's go ahead and do our very first 20-minute sprint. I know we're all here to get some writing done today. Let me just pop that up on the thing here. All right, let's make this big. Okay. Who's ready to write today? I know I am. Yay. If you have not already told us what you guys are going to be working on today, drop it in the chat. Otherwise, we will see you on the other side of 20 minutes. Here we go. Make it count. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's cha-cha.
If you're not making $158,000 per year, but you'd like to, I strongly encourage.
All right, everybody. I am sorry that there were not one, but two ads that popped up in that timer, which, as you guys know, we never have ads in our timer. So I don't know what happened, but I just went on backstage on YouTube into the studio, and I have monetization on for every single video now, which was, I think, due to an update. It was because those I never do ads on my timers because I don't want us to be interrupted when we're trying to write. So I apologize for that. I think YouTube must have just done some sort of like blanket update. But anyway, all right. I apologize to anybody if that like threw you off. It kind of ticked me off. I know, right? Ami says that guy so scared the me too. That's why I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna pull it off for a second until he's done and then pop it back up. So I'm just gonna yeah, I was not happy. So anyway, sorry about that, you guys. I believe it's fixed for this time, but I will be paying very, very close attention. So how'd everybody do other than the unscheduled interruptions? I guess
Much better this time.
that's good. Very good. Very glad to hear it. How about you guys in the chat? Let us know how you how you were writing. I'm sorry about the guy. I'm very sorry about the guy, the ad guy. Yeah. So I'm good. I'm making slow progress today. I too had the bejesus scared out of me. I have a very high startle reflex, so that's not good. So we have had some interesting questions come in this week, and I want to put one up on the thing. So anybody who has not told us when they were brave and it paid off, let us know what the circumstances were with that. So I got this question, which I think I feel like we've answered this one before, but I keep getting it all the time. And so I feel like the need is real. And so the question is, do you have any tips to write faster? Robert, I'm going to let you start with this. Do you have any tips to write faster?
There's various ways that you can write faster, but it depends on the circumstances. Sometimes even the day. There's times like now when I'm trying to figure out how to make certain parts of story structure in this book fresh, that fast is not a thing. and that happens with plot sometimes too. You're figuring out the intricacies. Sometimes you're going to get stuck. Other times you can outline and know exactly what you're doing going into that scene. And I guess that would be my number one tip. When you know concretely what you're going to do going in, you're naturally going to be faster. So
Yeah.
I think whether it's mentally, if you're a pantser, or writing it down if you're a planner, I think that's the main key to getting it done more quickly.
I think there's a lot of truth to that. A lot of times people just sit down to write and they're not quite sure where the scene's going to go. And that is a challenge for pantsers. I think if you just have at least one sentence of a sort of scene goal, what is supposed to happen, that does in fact speed up your writing. And then there are other things, you can, I always say this, but track your writing to see when you're doing, when you're writing faster, where you are, what kind of music or ambient sounds you're listening to. Are you in a coffee shop, your office, you're, in bed in your pajamas? I have been a writing tramp over the last 2 weeks. And by that, I mean, I'm rereading Elena Johnson's book about writing and marketing systems, which I believe is in fact called Writing and Marketing Systems. And one of the things that she talks about is something that I have been an advocate for a long time, which is like tracking your writing. What time do you write? How do you feel? How productive are you? And one of the things that she noticed about herself, which I have also noticed about myself, is that her productivity goes way down on Thursday, right? So she's super productive on Monday, Tuesday, pretty productive on Wednesday, but her productivity goes down way, way, way down on Thursday, and then it bounces back up a little bit on Friday. And I think, and I discovered I also have like a Thursday slump. And I think part of it is that by Thursday, you're sort of, the week is kind of wearing on you and all of that. And her solution for that was to give yourself a lighter day on that day. So if your normal word count goal is 3,000 words a day, then maybe do 1,500 on that day. And I think that is a really good idea. I think for me, the solution, like we talked about before with the sort of 80-20 rule, the solution for me is always do more of the thing that's working right now and do less of the thing that's not working, instead of trying to bring up the bottom. This is something that they talk a lot about in education, right? That teachers spend a lot of time trying to bring up the rear of the class, but they don't spend as much time on the kids that are the most engaged and the smartest, because they're not falling behind. And so those kids are not necessarily obviously one teacher, and we could go into education, like you have one teacher who has to manage a bigger and bigger classroom every year, and with fewer and fewer resources. And I don't want to, teachers are doing great. I don't want to start that. However, it's challenging, right? If you have to get everybody over a certain bottom line, you're going to, get the people who are straggling or struggling, and you're not going to pay as much attention as to your higher performers. But when it comes to your writing, that's what you want to do, is pay attention to those high performance times and go, okay, how can I make that happen? So one place I almost never write is in bed, because they always say, like, keep your bedroom peaceful and calm, and don't work in there, and don't let your work life do this. But when I was reading Elena's book, she talks a lot about that, about writing in bed. Like, she loves to write in bed. And I thought, well, I'll just try it. And sure enough, I had like a really cozy day in bed. It was kind of rainy outside, and I was pretty productive. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah,
And
I
then I
haven't
think,
done that in a while, but that's true. There is a cozy atmosphere. That used to be a thing for me, speaking of like cafes and libraries. I had this whole series on my channel called Writing on the Run because for a while when life was busy and I was working a day job, I had to find all these different times and different places to write. And just something that gets you out of your own space in your own head, you're just writing faster.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly. And I think there's some novelty to it. People used to always like tourists would always sort of give me a hard time when I would write at the beach, but I was like, this is my office. This is my office. And the reason it was became my office because I was so relaxed. You have less internet access out there. And so, I mean, you can get internet access on your phone, but I don't have it on my little iPad and keyboard that I write on. And so I have fewer distractions. I'm in the place that I love most in the universe. And I have the ambient sounds or ambient
Mhm.
sounds of the ocean, which, as you guys know, I super love. And that is the thing that makes me write the fastest. So there's all that. And then, of course, last tip, which we have talked about on the show before, is that dictating can actually help you to get things rolling. It can really speed up your time. Some people do not like it because you have to go back and you always have to go back and sort of fix homonyms and punctuation and things like that.
Mhm.
Names are sometimes problematic, but it really can speed things up for you. Doll's got some good advice. She said something that helps me a lot is to research and plan before I write. I have to plan and research before writing because it helps me understand the visuals of a setting better. That is really great advice.
Yeah,
Really great
research is
advice.
important. So is that white noise, like you're talking about the ocean. I
Yeah.
mean, for me, it doesn't always work in my environment now as well as it used to, but my early writing days was listening to a lot of progressive rock because there's a lot of changes. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
mellow, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to listen to the lyrics. It just sort of like blends into the background, and those little musical changes and ambiance, would really get me involved in writing.
I love that. I love that. This is another, like, if I'm not listening to ocean sounds, which I typically am, but if I'm not, I will, especially when I'm like trying to set like an emotional scene. I always have a playlist for each book, and I will go back to the same song and listen to it on repeat over and over and over again
Yeah,
for a particular scene. And it just fades into the background, but it gets you right into it. And the great thing about that is that when you go back to that scene the next day, play that song, and you're just instantly
yeah,
in writing mode. So,
yeah.
yeah, that's one of my favorite tips. Daisy has some great advice. I've been writing by hand recently, which is slower but more deliberate, but I also hear it improves mental health. Yes, and also it
Mm.
engages a different part of your brain than typing does, which is really interesting. And I use writing by hand a lot of times if I'm stuck. If I'm like having a hard time, I'll start writing the scene by hand, and often that will unstick me. And sometimes the reason that you're not writing as fast as you want to is because you're stuck. So I love that. And there is a sort of movement. What is it? Oh, Dahl told us last week. What was the name of that book? What was it called? Slow Productivity. It's not
Yeah.
here yet, but I did order it. Yeah, there's something about that, like sort of slow and steady, wins the race. So
Yeah,
love
you
that.
think about writing faster, meaning speed, but handwriting does kind of slow you down in a way and it gives you time to think. But essentially, the thought process is kicking into gear more actively and you're actually writing faster, even if you're writing slower.
Right.
It's not
Right.
always about the speed, it's about the mentality and the setting of it.
Yes, that's exactly right. Hello, Moonlight. We are so glad to see you here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Dahl says progressive rock and post rock are my music companions. Sometimes a Tchaikovsky ballet. Depends on the scene. Love
Yeah,
that.
sometimes classical works really well too because it does have a lot of change and it sounds like a movie soundtrack. So,
It does. It does. And there's something about that when you can sort of set that scene
mhm.
in your brain. Slow Productivity by Cal Newport was the book that Dahl recommended to us last week. I have ordered it. I have not read it yet, but it looks good to me. Okay. Daisy says I prefer hard bop jazz over calm jazz because music to study by puts me to sleep. Yeah, ditto. Although, okay, so the other thing that I have not talked about, and if you guys want to do one, we'll do one. Binaural beats. This is
Mhm.
something that weirdly a trauma therapist recommended to me, but for trauma relief. But part of it was that I was really struggling with writing, and so And so I started listening to binaural beats for productivity, for creativity, and holy smokes, it really did work. I actually do have a couple of binaural beats sprints on the channel. I'll drop the link in during the next sprint. If you guys want to do one, we will. I have one that's a binaural beats super sprint that's based on the research that shows that your ideal sprint length for productivity is 52 minutes with, I think, like 11 minutes of rest. I don't quite remember, but I'll go get the information for you guys. And so it's a longer one. You have to use headphones when you listen to binaural beats because one tone goes in one ear, one goes in the other, and it does something magical to your brain. Good, temporarily magical. You're not going to be changing anything permanently here, but I was shocked at how well it works, and it really, really, really does. So
Yeah, I wouldn't mind listening to that. There was a CD I picked up years ago. It was by a composer, Steve Halpern, who did all of these like melodic things, but there was one called Productivity Suite, and there's like those subliminal beats in there. So if you listen to it with headphones, it kind of puts you in that little zone. It doesn't work if I use it every day, but if I come back to it when I'm stuck and use it once in a while, it'll click me into gear.
I love that. I love that. All right. I will drop the binaural beats links in the chat. Let's all keep our fingers crossed that we do not have scary ad guys showing up in our in our live stream today. I'm so mad because I very specifically do not want advertising in any of my writing timers, and despite like the fact that some of them do very, very well, but I don't want it in my writing timers because I don't want you guys to be I don't want myself to be interrupted. I don't want you guys to be interrupted while we're working. All right, here we go. Fingers crossed it works this time. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's write. Sorry about that, you guys. I like lost my screen. I got 87 banners happening here too. It's like Las Vegas. Okay. Dun dun dun. All right. So, how'd everybody do on that last sprint? Let us know.
I'm formulating my ideas.
Nice. Very, very nice. I'm very glad to hear that. I did drop for you guys. This is the regular, like 20-minute binaural beats. It's almost like exactly like one of my regular timers, except in addition to the ocean sounds, you have the binaural beats. And this was the 52-minute super sprint based on the ideal sprint length for productivity. And the 17 minutes afterwards is a rest period. So 52-minute sprint followed by a 17-minute rest period, followed by another 52-minute sprint. So there we go.
Okay.
All right. I know, right? I think we've done binaural beats. I feel like we did a binaural beat sprint for on this live stream previously, but since a lot of people are doing it like on their phone or whatever, I always feel like you maybe don't have headphones on that you got to be prepared for that. So I don't. Doll says, I'm in my slow morning time, so I was making sure I socialized with some of the communities I'm in. Very nice. That's very productive. I had to answer some client emails, and then now I'm back to editing. How about you, Robert? Oh, you said you did great.
Yeah, I did pretty well with figuring this out, and I'm just copying the binaural beats and putting it in a separate window so I can go back to it. Sorry about that.
I know you're totally fine. I will try to be good and remember to drop that in the description or the comments or something after the stream. Sometimes I'm not very good about that stuff, but I will try. I'll try very hard to do it for today. So I'm excited. Lady, how is your draft coming of your work in progress? I'm dying to know. How is it coming? Let us know, you guys. So another question that we had, let me pull this up here if I can grab to that. Okay, hold on.
But yeah, as far as my ideas, I have a little story that I share with clients about story structure, and I'm trying to expand on that. It's kind of taken from, again, going back to my learnings with Saul Stein, who basically said, if you understand one part of a story, like even a perfect paragraph, you have a model for the entire thing. So over the years, I've looked at structure. I've looked at the structure he used, which was more of a structure before all the preconceived beats came into things, and then looked at what all those beats have in common and broke it down so you're understanding the structure beneath the structure, so you can design your own beats on it. So
love that. I love that. That's it's interesting how many different ways there are to approach that. So here is the question that we got, and this feels like such a sad question, but also there is not an author of live who has not felt this way. And the question was, how do you keep going when it feels like nothing is happening in your author career, or your book's not selling, or it's just not going you've tried ads and it's not going your way, or you've tried this and you just can't make it move. So the answer is to that, I don't have an answer to that. I do have some advice in that it happens to everyone and it's usually, in my experience, every time I have felt that way, like, oh my God, I should just give this up. It's like, it's not working. I'm banging my head against the wall, da, 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 da. And every time I have felt that way and just, powered through, that's when like the big break comes. I always feel like when you're sort of at your lowest, if you just persevere, that feels like when things start to crack open for you. And maybe it's because that you're looking for some sign, and so you're more likely to see it. There's that great research I love about how people who consider themselves to be lucky, in a fascinating, like, man on the street kind of study, were shown a newspaper page, and they were asked to pick out how many I don't know how many ads there were on one page. And if they got the answer correctly, they would win $500. But there was also an ad on the page that said, tell the interviewer that you saw 13 ads on the page and you'll win $700. And people who considered themselves to be lucky were far more likely to see that ad and get the extra money, because people who see themselves as lucky are always open to more opportunities. And I feel like if you're like,
Yes.
this is hard, I am ready to quit, take a day or two off, give yourself some time to recoup, or a week off. Don't take a long time off, but take some time off and, sort of gather your strength, get back on the horse, because it's typically when you're feeling like that things kind of break open for you.
Yeah, every opportunity, or every problem rather, is an opportunity to learn. And often, especially with writing, as we've talked about in the stream before, when we hit roadblocks, it's usually because we're missing something on a foundational level.
Right.
And I think life emulates that.
Yeah.
When we encounter problems, it's because there's something that's missing. Either
We're missing something
in our story, there's something we have to kind of figure out.
Right.
And when we step back from it, yes, that's usually when we get that clarity, when we hit that moment where we need to just break away, release everything, take a look at it with a fresh eye, and suddenly we have that aha moment.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right. And I've personally experienced that myself, I don't know, hundreds of times.
Yes.
But also I've seen it happen for other people so many times. So Dahl says, I have to say this: August is one of the worst months for books. That's true. There are a lot of people struggling right now.
Mhm.
If you don't sell a thing this month, it's not you. It is hard. It is hard.
Yeah.
If August slows down, the same thing is true for YouTube. The Horror Geek is a full-time YouTuber, and August is just not a great month for YouTube. So, and we're like, yeah. So I feel that. Dahl says, I had a fantastic July for my book. Yay! But August is crickets. That's just the way it goes. That happens. And Avi says, Sir Sherlock Fancy Pants spitting some straight facts. True that. All right, we are going to go ahead and do another sprint. Let me just pull this back. It would have been super duper if I did this. There we go. Okay. All right, this is going to be our last sprint, you guys. We are going to make it count. Let's do this. Starting in 3, 2, 1. You've got this. Very nice. How did Reedy do on that last one?
Go down.
Excellent. Lainey wrote something really funny in the comments earlier. She said she'd gotten 412 words into the final chapter. I'm ignoring you all chatting to forge ahead. Yay! That is absolutely fantastic. I really love that. Let me get this banner off. It's making me crazy.
Sometimes that's what you got to do, just dive in. But these streams are another way to be productive, because sometimes when I've been stuck just coming on here, I've managed to breeze through whatever I'm stuck on because it shifts my perception and my daily routine.
Yeah, I feel the same way too. Like even when I've really struggled to write, I just being here writing just for 20 minutes and talking about it it also really helps to sort of get you off the dime sometimes. So it definitely has helped me. So
Yeah.
Avi says, I just thought Avi is so creative. I just thought of a new marketing angle for Robert. I'm SSF, Sir Sherlock Fancy Pants, and I write SFF, science fiction and fantasy, just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Can you say that 3 times fast? Let's try that.
You know, I'm using the story detective in kind of a colorful way. And you know how doctors and lawyers have initials after their name? So on my book, I'm just writing after my name, SD.
Absolutely love that. Absolutely love that. That's fantastic. Lady says, Robert, I agree. I write better even with the talking going on in the background. I just the epilogue left, and I can do that after the next revision. What? You finished? Oh my gosh, that
Awesome.
is totally amazing. Hold on, you know what you've got coming. You've earned it. You deserve it. And here it is. Yay! We're so proud of you. That is super awesome. Thank you so much. Great job. Oh my gosh, that has to feel really good today. Love it. So Lainey, I'm assuming, let's just talk about this because it's a great strategy. Lainey's really, really good with her back matter because she writes in series. She will often, generally, always introduce the characters for the next book at the end of the existing book, which is a great way to get people excited about the next book in the series and also make them aware of it. Lainey, are your final chapters set up your next book, or do you use the epilogue for that? Ooh, here we go. I got the answer to the question before I even asked it. Yep, the epilogue will be in the POV of the heroine for the following book. Love
That's a
it.
really good idea.
It is probably, if you write in a series, that is absolutely the best strategy to keep people daisy chaining all the way through your book. So, and then that's the thing, like that's where the money is, not like the standalones. It's way harder, I think, to make a really, really spectacular living as an author writing exclusively standalones. Series books, they buy one, then they buy the second and the third, and if you get them into the third, they're 80% of those books are going to finish the series, and that is huge. That is really
It's also
huge.
a great example of how to write a good epilogue, because prologues and epilogues are kind of frowned on by some people, but if you have a reason for it, as we've said, a good reason and a good understanding of how they work can be great, and this is a really good example.
That is. Well, we will leave you with that. We miss Michelle for sure this week. I hope she feels better. Before we go, Robert, tell everybody about your soon-to-be returning channel, Story Detective.
Coming soon, the Story Detective 2.0, where I will continue to take various forms of storytelling and put it under that Sherlockian microscope and break down the craft in colorful and interesting ways. There's plans. This is going to be a season. There's different parts, different things going on, and each one will be a little bit of a different series within the series.
I'm excited. I'm on the edge of my seat. I can't wait for these to come back. Love that. Love that. Love that. I am Lisa Daly, and here on my channel, we talk about how to write a book you're super proud of and get it published. And I write nonfiction writing advice like that book in the back, How to Write a Self-Help Book, and as well as romantic comedies, and in particular, hockey romance. So you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for being here. We love you, and we will see you next week. Bye, everybody.
And keep those keyboards clacking as